Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we are looking at one of the most incredible underdog stories in modern sports history and how it's triggering a massive macroeconomic shift. We're talking about Cabo Verde's 2026 World Cup debut and the phenomenon that's now known as the Blue Sharks effect. This is one of those rare, fascinating moments where an athletic triumph collides directly with global economics and destination marketing. If you love seeing how a single, viral cultural moment can literally rewrite a nation's financial future, well, you're going to love the data we have lined up for you today.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at the ultimate underdog debut. Then we'll get into the Blue Sharks effect, followed by the new tourism era, and finally, the challenges ahead.
All right, let's jump straight into part one, the ultimate underdog debut. To really understand this current economic boom, we've got to look at this unbelievable timeline. Heading into the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Cabo Verde was making its very first appearance, and just look at the absolute gauntlet of global football giants they faced in Group H. In Match 1, they pull off a stunning 0-0 draw against the eventual world champions, Spain, earning a massive clean sheet. Match 2, they fall behind twice against Uruguay but fiercely fight back for a 2-2 draw. By Match 3, they hold Saudi Arabia to another 0-0 draw to lock down their knockout spot. And then, in the round of 32, they pushed the defending champions Argentina to the absolute brink, equalizing twice before heartbreakingly falling 3-2 in extra time. It was an epic, breathless run.
And seeing it laid out like this brilliantly illustrates the analytical weight of what they achieved athletically. Cabo Verde sat proudly in second place in Group H. 3 points, absolutely 0 losses in the group stage, and advancing to the knockout round on their debut. The statistics show an incredibly disciplined team. They held their own defensively against some of the most aggressive attacking teams on the planet, conceding only 2 goals in the group stage and racking up those crucial draws.
But, it wasn't just about the numbers. It was about the sheer spectacle of it all. Sidney Lopez Cabral didn't just score against Argentina. He scored a spectacular strike that was actually voted the FIFA goal of the tournament. Meanwhile, goalkeeper Vozinha became an absolute breakout star, making these crazy, crucial saves and really capturing global hearts. These standout players just exploded on social media. They inadvertently became the faces of a massive national marketing triumph, introducing millions of people to the passion and resilience of Cabo Verde.
Which brings us right to part 2, the Blue Sharks effect.
I want you to take a moment and just let this number sink in. 5,000%. According to recent travel industry reports, searches for Cabo Verde vacation in the United States exploded by more than 5,000% compared to the previous year. This wasn't some gradual, steady climb over time. It was an overnight, explosive surge in interest that directly correlated with their World Cup performance.
So the crucial point is understanding exactly why this happened. Before this tournament, a lot of folks outside of Europe and West Africa simply weren't familiar with Cabo Verde. These World Cup broadcasts acted like a massive, unprecedented, free destination marketing campaign. To buy this kind of advertising, repeatedly showcasing the country's name, its vibrant flag, the Blue Sharks' identity, and the national culture to hundreds of millions of captive viewers would require a budget that traditional tourism boards couldn't even dream of.
And the data completely backs this up across multiple platforms. Expedia alone reported an 800% increase in U.S. searches during the tournament itself. We also saw major search spikes in the UK and Japan. Now, while search activity doesn't instantly guarantee someone's booking a flight right that second, tourism researchers look at this as one of the strongest leading indicators of future travel demand. The curiosity is absolutely there, and the intent to travel is forming on a global scale.
So how does this change things moving forward? Let's dive into part 3, a new tourism era. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we are watching a viral sports moment actively reshape a country's entire tourism brand, starting with its demographics. Historically, Cabo Verde has relied super heavily on a concentrated European market, places like the UK, Portugal, Germany, France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. But the Blue Sharks effect has unlocked entirely new audiences. By performing on that global stage, they're now drawing serious interest from North America, Latin America, Asia, and the Middle East. This is incredibly healthy for a national economy because it diversifies their visitor markets and heavily reduces their reliance on just a handful of European nations. And we really have to remember the baseline here. Tourism already accounts for roughly 25% of Cabo Verde's GDP. Even before the World Cup, they recorded a historic 1.25 million hotel guests in 2025. So this World Cup visibility isn't trying to build an industry from scratch. It's pouring gasoline on a sector that is already expanding. It paves the way for higher year-round hotel occupancy, longer visitor stays, and way more foreign investment from international hotel chains and airlines.
But a great question to ask here is, where does all this new money actually go? Well, it all comes down to economic multiplier effects. A tourist doesn't just pay a hotel and leave, right? That spending trickles down to restaurants, taxi operators, local tour guides, handicraft producers, the whole shebang. It increases demand for local farmers and fishermen. The World Bank identifies tourism as a principal engine of Cabo Verde's economic growth, meaning this surge in interest has broad, economy-wide benefits that touch everyday citizens.
Furthermore, this surge in attention gives the government a golden opportunity to spread the wealth geographically. Right now, visitors heavily concentrate on the resort islands of Sal and Boa Vista, but look at this expansion strategy. They can now actively promote the stunning landscapes of San Vicente and Santo Antão, expand cultural tours to Santiago and Fogo, and include quieter escapes like Mayo and Brava. This distributes tourism much more evenly across the archipelago, reducing environmental and infrastructure pressure on the busiest spots.
And this diversification isn't just geographical, it's conceptual too. Cabo Verde's brand is evolving far beyond its traditional sun and beach reputation. They've now got a massive opportunity in sports tourism. Think international youth football tournaments, training camps, and fan festivals. Add to that, cultural tourism, drawing people in to experience the Creole music, local festivals, and traditional cuisine that the world caught a glimpse of during those World Cup broadcasts.
But of course, it's not all perfectly smooth sailing. Let's look at part 4, the challenges ahead.
We have to impartially look at the facts on the ground here. To handle a massive influx of new tourists, Cabo Verde faces some significant infrastructure and environmental challenges. They must expand their airports and drastically improve inter-island air and ferry connectivity to make that geographic spread we just talked about actually possible. On top of that, they face real climate-related risks, specifically managing water scarcity, alongside the crucial need to protect delicate coastal ecosystems and train a much larger hospitality workforce to meet international demands.
Which leaves us with this final pivotal question. Can Cabo Verde successfully leverage this historic viral moment into sustainable long-term growth without compromising the very natural beauty and culture that makes it so special to begin with? The potential is undeniable, the global interest is at an absolute all-time high, but the execution over the next few years is what will dictate their future. It's a fascinating balancing act of economics, infrastructure, and national identity. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today, and I highly encourage you to keep a close eye on this ultimate underdog nation as they navigate this brand new era.